Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Ask the Expert session. We look forward to discussing how ServiceNow and Microsoft are partnering to improve employee experience and agent productivity. After we introduce our speakers, I'm going to take no more than a couple minutes to provide a high-level overview of our partnership with Microsoft, and then we're going to turn it over to you, our audience, for questions. If you've already come prepared with questions, please feel free to post them in the chat at any time. And if you haven't, monitor the chat to see what other questions people are asking. By upvoting their questions, you allow us to answer those most relevant to all of you. This session is being recorded, so there's no need for anyone in the audience to record. Also, as always, please follow Microsoft's Code of Conduct. And now let's introduce our speakers. I'll go first. Hi everyone, I'm Gene Stilkind. I'm a product manager here at ServiceNow, and I'm focused on employee experience. Fun fact about me, my name's not really Gene, it's Eugene, and my parents call me Zhenya. That's Russian for Eugene. The story of how I became known as Gene at ServiceNow is pretty funny and pretty interesting, but some things are more fun left a mystery. To find out this mystery, you'll have to join us at the next Microsoft event. Mike, would you like to introduce yourself to the audience?
Absolutely, thanks, Gene. Hi, everyone. My name is Mike Malcanjo. I'm a product manager at ServiceNow, focused on strategic integrations. And fun fact about me, my name is also not Gene. But seriously, fun fact, I once won an essay contest in 12 words or less. So if you'd like to find out what that was, also follow up on the next Microsoft session.
Wen?
Hi everyone, thanks for joining this session. My name is Gwen. I'm a product manager from ServiceNow. I'm very excited to be here to talk about the great integration we have between ServiceNow and Microsoft Teams. So my primary focus is a virtual agent product and its integration with third-party applications that includes Microsoft Teams. I'll be very happy to answer your questions. Speaking of fun facts about me, I guess I'll follow what Gene started talking about name. As you see, my English name has only 3 letters. I also have a Chinese name. The Chinese character, however, requires 12 strokes. It's not a simple character. A lot of people actually get it wrong. There's another character in Chinese that sounds the same, but only require 4 strokes. So either people don't know or they try to save time. They just write the other one instead. Back to you, Gene.
Thanks, Wen. Thanks, Mike. I learned something new as well today. Now I'll take a moment to describe our partnership with Microsoft. Our customers value our ability to string together workflows seamlessly and across silos, across IT, HR, legal, and so on. Our customers also want their employees to be able to access ServiceNow capabilities in the tools they use for work every day. For many employees, daily collaboration happens in Teams and Office. Microsoft provides the productivity and collaboration tools employees need, and ServiceNow provides enterprise workflows and service management. As strategic partners, both Microsoft and ServiceNow remain committed to providing the best experiences and the best service for employees, regardless of where they work. By bringing our platforms together, we enable employees to connect to the information and services they need in the moments that matter, directly in the tools they're using. In this sense, great workflows enable greater productivity. And this vision breaks down into 2 themes for us here at ServiceNow. The first theme is employee experience. Let's take a look at the highlights of our employee experience integration, first released in October of 2020. With the new Your Hub tab, employees are easily able to keep track of all their service-related information. They can see their requests, their assigned tasks, and any communications they're interested in. With Virtual Agent, employees are able to receive service and get answers to their questions at any time. Whenever you need help, just ask Virtual Agent. And finally, all notifications can be sent through Microsoft Teams. And as of the Quebec release, it's easier than ever to create actionable notifications from which the employees can kick off Virtual Agent topics directly in response to the notification. That's the first theme for us at ServiceNow, employee experience. And the second theme is agent productivity. As an agent, whenever you need subject matter expertise in order to resolve an employee issue, You can start a Microsoft Teams chat with an expert, get the information you need, and get back to the employee to help them resolve their issue quickly. Major incident managers are able to spin up Teams meetings and bring together the right collaborators and stakeholders to resolve the major incident as quickly as possible. And as of February 2021, with the new Meeting Extensibility app for major incident management, we bring the major incident details directly into the meeting window, so major incident managers don't have to swivel chair between two systems to get their work done. And finally, agents are able to communicate with employees in Teams, either with Teams chats or with the new February release using Teams calls for those issues which require higher touch service delivery. And with that, we are ready to turn it over to Q&A. If you haven't had a chance yet to ask a question, please feel free to post them in the chat now or at any time. And I'm going to turn it over to our moderators. Do we have any questions from the audience?
Hey, Gene, we do. There are several. So one of the first ones is from Eric and has several likes. Can we get to a world where my users reach out on Teams chat, my agents help them, and ServiceNow records the transition?
Yeah, that's a great question. And actually, we're very much in that world today. Employees are able to reach out using virtual agent. And if agents need any additional information about the employee's issue, they're able to follow up in a Teams chat. And then they can import the messages into ServiceNow so that all of the chats are recorded and all of the service related information is captured inside of the ticket.
Perfect. So another question that is in the chat window is there a plan to provide an option to not create a distribution list when creating a team at the user level?
That is an interesting question. Mike, Wen, do you have any insights on that?
I don't know if that's really a function of ServiceNow's integration with Microsoft 365 or more of the kind of Microsoft 365 kind of background functions, right? So we'll have to look into that a little more.
Yeah, I think that's something that we'll have to follow up on. I don't know that we have that as an out-of-the-box capability, but it might be something that's possible through Integration Hub. And so we'll have to do some digging to get an answer to that question.
Perfect.
Yeah, I would like to actually capture that question and we can take it to the team, and then also like to follow up to understand what the customer is trying to accomplish here so we can help better.
So another question that is in from Aaron, I am curious how other orgs are creating distinctions between what requests get created natively in Microsoft solutions, example lists coupled with Power Automate, and what requests live in Snow but get connected to Microsoft 365.
That's a really good question. A lot of what I've seen organizations doing is as they formalize their business processes and their request management workflows, they tend to bring them into ServiceNow and create those as ServiceNow requests with ServiceNow workflows. I've seen a lot of organizations starting with less formal business processes in Microsoft and then transitioning those to ServiceNow. Mike, Wen, have you guys seen anything different from our customers?
I haven't, Gene. That's a great answer. That's what I've observed as well.
Perfect. Any other comments from the panel? Otherwise, we'll go on to some additional questions. Okay. Is there a connector in Power Automate for ServiceNow, but it has no triggers? When will a trigger be available for this connector to be able to kick off the processes when an issue is open, close, etc.?
If I understood the question, this sounds very similar to what we are introducing as part of the notification integration. So the trigger can be from ServiceNow, triggered by the notification that just say the instance got updated, and we'll be able to actually make that information available to the user in Microsoft Teams. And they will be able to see that just instance got updated, they need to add comment, And that information, if they add comment going to, excuse me, going to virtual agent topic, that can actually get back to the ServiceNow and that comment being recorded in the incident. Is that the question, or is there something that's different that you are trying to accomplish? Okay, provide the feedback in the Q&A. We can make sure we answer it.
So while that happens, it's about, it looks like there is a, it says it is about, yes, I think there's some additional commentary. Okay, so apologies. I have to get back. There was, when are you in, can you also read, apologies, I went to a different window. Can you read one of the other questions when? I apologize, I lost my chat window here for a second.
Yeah, I see one question here that asks, will we be able to have the recording? And so for Microsoft Teams meetings, the recording is captured in Microsoft, and we actually provide a link to the recording directly from the ticket. So an agent or someone else who's looking at the ticket is able to get to that recording after the ticket has been, after the meeting has been closed.
Perfect. There was also a question in here about identities and whether they remain separate or carry over between Teams and ServiceNow.
So as part of the virtual agent integration, the first thing that we actually do prompt the user is to make sure we give the user opportunity to match their identity in Microsoft Teams and their identity in ServiceNow. This will help us to bring the user relevant information from ServiceNow into Microsoft Teams. So the short answer is yes, there is a step that can be performed by the user today from the Paris release, and then in Quebec release, we actually improve that experience. So by default, you can enable have the identity mapping between Microsoft Teams and ServiceNow automatically performed.
Thanks. There's another question I think that we have discussed earlier, but how do you see customers using Microsoft Power Virtual Agent versus ServiceNow Virtual Agents?
That's an interesting question. They have, so from ServiceNow perspective, the virtual agent is built on top of ServiceNow platform. It leverages ServiceNow platform capabilities. In particular, if you already have certain workflow built in ServiceNow, this is a great tool to leverage what you have already invested in ServiceNow platform and bring that capabilities into Microsoft Teams for the user to be able to work within Teams, stay productive with the Microsoft Teams, and then get their work done that requires access to ServiceNow. So that's the power of the ServiceNow virtual agent. I believe the purpose or the goal here is really improve the employee productivity, whether it's the Microsoft virtual agent or ServiceNow virtual agent. I think the goal are here the same. It really depends on where the system of records are residing in.
Thanks, Gwen. There's another question about, can ServiceNow approval requests tie in with the Teams approval app automate approvals connector?
So that is something that can be done with Integration Hub, but we actually do surface the approval requests in our Microsoft Teams integration. So employees are able to receive their approvals directly in Microsoft Teams, and they're actually able to action on those notifications by approving or rejecting the request directly on the notification.
Great. And apologies, there's a lot of questions, which is great. I'm curious on ServiceNow's strategy to facilitate knowledge sharing alongside Microsoft 365 tools.
That's a good question. So from the knowledge perspective, it depends on what the contents are. I think the virtual agent and also the integration in general between Microsoft Teams and ServiceNow is to bring that knowledge to the end user, whether the knowledge coming from ServiceNow instance or from Microsoft. So we do provide the knowledge sharing, and then the knowledge content can come from different data sources, and that does include Microsoft sources.
Yeah, if I can add a little bit onto that as well. We actually have a connector right now for ServiceNow that allows you to bring in knowledge from ServiceNow into the Microsoft ecosystem. And we're continuing to enhance that connector. And going the other way, we're also able to bring in content from SharePoint into ServiceNow and surface that knowledge that lives in SharePoint inside of ServiceNow. So we have a bi-directional integration that's available so employees can find the knowledge they need regardless of which system they're in.
Perfect. And there's a few questions that relate to how many of these apps are available today versus what's being added, kind of with a follow-up of the employee experience piece. Is that a platform feature or is that tied to a specific module required licensing requirement?
Okay, that's a good question. So I'll answer those. The first thing is that we have out-of-the-box integrations available for ITSM and for HR service delivery today, and they're available across a wide set of IT and HR workflows. Additionally, you can actually extend our integrations for your own custom workflows, and we're going to continue to extend them for additional workflows going into the future. Now, with regard to licensing, for IT, you can actually use this integration with ITSM standard, and there you have a predefined set of virtual agent topics available with Virtual Agent Lite. If you have ITSM Pro, you get the full-fledged virtual agent experience where you can build custom topics and also use actionable notifications. And then with regard to HR service delivery, if you have HR Pro, you're able to use this integration, and you can use Virtual Agent and customize it to accommodate all of your HR business processes.
Great. Jean or Mike, could you talk a little bit about ITSM Pro and how you use that integration?
Sure, I can take that one. A lot of the capabilities that we've discussed, they work exactly the same between ITSM Standard and ITSM Pro. The big difference today between those integrations is the full VA that Jean was mentioning, and then actionable notifications is a part of the Pro package as well versus regular notifications. But other than that, all the things that you saw are out there today, and they work between Standard and Pro.
Perfect.
A lot of questions coming in.
Right.
I think, yeah, there are a few questions. I think we can, I do like to have those answered. So there's a question, will conversations be logged in ServiceNow or Teams history?
Could you repeat that question, Wen?
Will the conversation be logged in ServiceNow or Teams history?
Okay, so the answer to that is yes. It's going to be logged both in ServiceNow and Microsoft Teams when you enable this integration. We also are aware that a lot of our customers have requirements around security, compliance, and audit. Now, both Microsoft and ServiceNow provide robust tools around security, compliance, and audit, so you can trust that the conversation is safe. But we also know that customers may have specific requirements around sensitive conversations. For example, in HR, you may allow a lot of conversations to happen in Microsoft Teams, but when it comes to employee relations issues, you may not want those conversations happening in Microsoft Teams. And on the ServiceNow side, we provide controls so that you can decide what kinds of conversations or which HR services you want conversations to happen for in Microsoft Teams. So lots of control from an administration perspective.
Great. Wen, was there another question that you had? Otherwise, there was a question about the ease of using bots and incorporating those in.
What exactly is the question about bots?
This might be relevant. I think there are a couple of questions that are talking about, are these apps available and how are they added to Teams? I'm trying to summarize a few similar questions on that. So yes, the integrations are available today. The integration with virtual agent actually has been available in production for a few family releases now, and employee experience integration is starting with Paris. Jean can comment on that with more details. And you can actually have that integration set up and have the users to start using within Teams.
And just following up, when it says, how easily can we set up a bot virtual agent to pull info from the ServiceNow knowledge database?
It's easy. First step is to set up the integration, and then from virtual agent integration perspective, it really requires the admin to be in ServiceNow instance and just have one button click to have that integration set up. And then the part where you want to put knowledge articles from ServiceNow, it can be accomplished with multiple approaches. One is you can build that within the conversation of virtual agent. Depending on how common user asking a particular knowledge article or a particular area knowledge article, you can build that into the virtual agent topic. Now, the second approach is actually coming out as part of the Quebec. We integrated with ServiceNow AI search, and the AI search will be able to, within that, you have the ability to define the data sources, and that includes knowledge-based articles. And then the AI search will be able to directly bring and search across these data sources and bring that information to the user. And if the user in Microsoft Teams, they'll be able to get that answer from within Teams without you having to build a conversation. So these are the, I would say, two common approaches that you can take.
So here's another one for the team. It is possible to see published ServiceNow knowledge base articles through Teams. It's a question, is it possible? And our document management is fragmented between the two, and it makes it difficult to find relevant information. I think the question is just how do they solve for some of that fragmentation?
Yeah, I can take this one. So this goes back to what I was saying earlier about the bidirectional knowledge integration that we have. We can surface ServiceNow knowledge in Microsoft Teams with our knowledge connector, and likewise, if you're storing knowledge in SharePoint, for example, we can surface that in ServiceNow as well. And that knowledge can be made available either through Virtual Agent if an employee prefers a conversational interface, or through the search bar in Microsoft Teams for ServiceNow knowledge articles. Seeing a question here, how I can get the ServiceNow app for Microsoft Teams. So the way that you get the app is you go to the ServiceNow store, and you can type in Microsoft Teams to see all the apps available. If you're looking for IT service management, we have a set of apps available you can download from the store. And if you're looking for HR service delivery, you can download that app. Then once you've downloaded them, you have the ability to configure those apps and upload them directly into your Teams environment in order to make them available to all of your employees.
And just for the record, I am in the process of putting some of the links for additional resources into the chat that I think will also help answer some of the questions that we are seeing. So,
yeah, I did want to throw out there, I see a few questions about automating different kinds of actions for users and being able to integrate between the platforms. ServiceNow offers what we call Integration Hub and then Flow Designer, which are a bunch of offer pre-built actions for interacting with Azure AD, SharePoint, a whole bunch of different capabilities, and then they surface within Virtual Agent and the Service Catalog, making it super simple for employees to request assistance either with an agent or doing self-service via the Service Catalog. And that's how you'd integrate those things to be able to add to distribution lists, remove people from them, do all those kinds of things.
So there is one question I think it will be of interest for the audience is, what is the version of ServiceNow do you recommend to be on for better integration? I will always recommend you to be on the latest and greatest version.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll just follow that up by saying that the latest version that is going to be available right now is the Quebec release. And we have a lot of exciting enhancements coming both for employee experience and agent productivity. So definitely look to upgrade to Quebec.
So team, we have just 5 minutes left. Any final thoughts? And I also will put in our showcase link that has additional information. We have a session again tomorrow, and we will also save this chat and try to make sure that all of those relevant links get over to the team as best possible. So team, with that, any final comments while we wrap up?
I think while we are talking about the latest and greatest, Jean, why don't you go like 1 minute to see what are the latest release features that's coming, that's already come out with the Quebec and the store release?
Yeah, that's a great question. So Wen mentioned one of them. In the Quebec release, we have the new AI search available, which is going to be an enormous improvement for employee experience, and that's going to enhance the entire virtual agent experience as well. In the February store release, we've introduced the new meeting extensibility app for major incident management, which allows us to surface major incident details right in the window and really simplify the experience for major incident managers. And finally, in the February release, we also have a capability to promote a chat to a call. So when an agent thinks it's appropriate to have a higher touch service experience using either video or screen sharing, they're able to start a call with the employee and get that issue resolved much more quickly. So those are some of the new things that are available as of this year. I'm also seeing a couple of questions here around the Your Hub, the purpose of Your Hub. So I'll just speak to that a little bit. So we know that our customers have invested a lot to create very sophisticated portals. And the idea around Your Hub is not to be a replacement for the portal, but to live alongside of it and to live alongside Virtual Agent as well. So the Your Hub provides kind of a snapshot of all the service related information employees need, like their requests and their tasks. And when employees need to get service, it's really easy to switch over to Virtual Agent. You can also publish targeted communications through Your Hub, so employees can see the information that's most relevant to them. And finally, Your Hub is customizable. So any custom widgets that you've built for your portal that you would like to surface, you can actually put them directly into your hub. It's just like customizing any other portal page.
Perfect. Jean, would you also like to share your screen with, considering there are so many questions, would you like to share your screen with the additional resource links that we have, as well as the email address, if there's any follow-up questions that the team would like to send to us?
Yes, absolutely. Are you guys seeing my screen now?
We are, yes.
Okay. Awesome. So I know that there's going to be a lot of questions that we haven't had a chance to answer and other questions that come up. Please send all of those and any feedback that you have to the amstradeshows@servicenow.com email address. We also have resources here available for you to actually go and download our apps. You can get them running in production today. Go to the store and type in Microsoft Teams, and you'll see that we have a set of apps available for IT service management and HR service delivery. We also have a YouTube video that can walk you through setting up Virtual Agent for Microsoft Teams called Virtual Agent Academy, Improve Your Conversations with Microsoft Teams. That's a really good place to get started. Mike, Wen, any final thoughts?
We need more time.
There's a lot of great questions in there. We'd love to get through
everybody bringing the questions. Definitely would like to follow up, and then please reach out to the email address and then explore the community as well and submit your questions there. We'll definitely try to get back to you.
Thank you all. And I think that is a wrap. We will, again, do our best to get to all of these questions. And again, feel free to reach out to that email address with further questions so that we can either follow up, have your account team follow up, or schedule a demo. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.